Welcome to the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. I'm Dr. Nikki Cottis.
I'm Dr. Alejandro Elias.
And I'm Dr. Gabrielle Manto. Together, we help wellness practitioners build profitable, scalable businesses without sacrificing their health, their families, or their freedom.
On this podcast, we'll talk profit, leadership, and ownership, so your business works for you, not the other way around.
This is the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. My name is Gabrielle. I am one of your hosts and also one of your TWP coaches. And today I wanted to share with you guys about really my experience that I had back in January, public speaking or speaking in general at our St. Pete's event. And so if you have been around TWP, if you've been listening, you know that TWP throws some banger events that are truly unlike any other workshop or seminar that you've probably ever been to. It is literally the perfect combination of like strategy, mindset, community. It's definitely not something you wear leggings to and sit in the back and doodle in your notebook. These events are truly life-changing. And so I wanted to share a little bit more about my perspective coming from a coach, but also as a person working my way up to speaking on stage in front of everyone. And so I love public speaking. Honestly, I love doing workshops. I love talking to people. I find that so fun. But for some reason, the idea of speaking in St. Pete's was really taking a toll on my nervous system. I was like, why am I reacting like this? I am literally panicking. I'm throwing up. I'm not sleeping. Nightmares. I'm like, wow, this is insane that this is my response to this event or the idea of speaking. Just like the nerves are really overcoming my nervous system. And so the first thing that I did was try to work myself through it from the strategies that I already have that we've learned from TWP, but it was just getting a little bit too intense. So I called my dad because my dad has used visualization techniques a lot in his journey in his career. So I called him. I was like, listen, dude, you got to help me out because this is really, my body is so stressed. I'm panicking so much. I actually shared with people at the event too that I was like throwing up literally on the airplane on my way there. And so I'm like, you need to help me get through this and work through the anxiety of performing. And so the first thing he did was laugh in my face, of course, because he's like, welcome to the club. But the first thing I wanted to share with you the strategies that he gave me because it has literally helped me, not just when it comes to speaking, but also how I lead my life, how I lead coaching calls, how I would present to a new patient or new client in front of me, how I do anything hard, really, even like having tough conversations, how I use some of these techniques in the day-to-day. So the first thing he had me do was recall. So relive a previous great performance, whether it was like the best workshop I had ever given. He made me tell him about the best day in practice. He told me to tell him about like the best coaching call I've ever had, the best public speaking experience I ever had, because it helped me to recreate that winning emotional state. So after we went through that, he said, Gabrielle, I need you to give me the post-game interview. Or the post-event interview. For him, it's always post-game interview, so I just kind of track with that. But this essentially helped me to engage all five senses. What I was seeing, what I was hearing, what I was feeling, what did it look like? He had me visualize 20 seconds immediately after the event. So he would say like, hey, I need you to give me tell me how you did it. Tell me how, what you were feeling. Tell me what it felt like to give the best speech ever. Tell me what feedback you want the audience to give you after the speech. He wanted me to go through and literally pretend that I was at a podium and there were people interviewing me on the success that I just had, the impact I just had post the speaking event. So you can use this literally as a parent saying yes to care. You can literally use this as like standing ovation after your talk, hitting a revenue milestone, opening a new office or expanding. This was really about creating a state, not necessarily predicting an outcome too. And so visualization really is remembering or creating a picture in your mind and the associated feelings in order to create the state that you want. And so this is really what elite performers do. Elite CEOs and business owners, athletes, surgeons, any type of performer, they use these visualization techniques too. And so the post-game interview, my dad also had me say like, Gabrielle, as far as these sentences are concerned, tell me what you're seeing. Tell me what the lights look like. Tell me what the audience looks like. Tell me what you're smelling. Tell me what it feels like. Give me the temperature of the room. Tell me what you're hearing, right? That could also be my heels clacking across the stage too. Tell me how you're using your body what you're saying, what you want the audience to feel. He literally had me go through each step by step. How are you wearing your hair? What's your makeup look like? What clothes are you wearing? That literally helped me not just practice the talk in general, but to practice success, to create the emotional state that I had established by telling him the emotions that I had felt when I had given the best speech ever, given the best day in practice ever, when I hit a revenue goal. And so there are some things that I want to go through you. So if you've been to one of my trainings, I've mentioned this book before, but Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy has been one of the most transformative books that I've ever read in my life, and also refer back to, because I think like neurology, I think conscious versus subconscious mind, I think visualization, manifestation, I think that is all so interesting how we can actually control our brains too, because our brains believe whatever is real or imagined, our brain believes it and it can come into fruition. So I want to go over these 5 points with you guys. And this is what I try to do and practice in my everyday life. So one is that your brain is already visualizing, right? So whether you realize it or not, you are constantly rehearsing future events in your mind. The problem here is that most people spend more time visualizing what could go wrong than what could go right? Visualization isn't something that just elite performers do occasionally. It is something that all of us do every single day. And so the question is whether you're directing those thoughts or you are letting fear, scarcity, direct them for you. Point number 2 is that visualization is about identity, not outcome. So most people focus on visualizing the results, but the real power comes from visualizing the person you need to become. So my dad wasn't necessarily helping me see a successful presentation. He was helping me see myself as someone who is capable of delivering it, right? So confidence comes less from knowing what will happen and more from trusting who you will become while you are doing it. Teaching point number 3 that I wanted to share with you guys is that the secret is in the feeling, in the emotion. So visualization works because it creates the emotions you want to experience before the moment arrives. So, right, my dad didn't just ask me what happened. He asked me how I felt, how I carried myself, how I responded, right? Confidence isn't something that you find, it's something that you rehearse too. And the feeling comes first and then the performance follows. Point number 4 is that everything happens twice. This is the biggest thing that I keep telling myself. Everything happens twice. One of the core teachings in the book of Inner Excellence is that everything happens twice, right? First in your mind and then in your life. So results are heavily influenced by the images that we consistently hold, the beliefs attached to those images, and the emotions we experience while imagining them. So to keep it short and sweet, your internal world creates your external performance, right? We've also heard this inside of TWP too. Your inner world essentially is just a mirror of your outer world too, and vice versa. And then the 5th point is that I want you to learn and take away from this episode is that visualization helps you to trust future you. Every time you visualize courage, peace, confidence, leadership, you are reinforcing the belief in those qualities that already exist within you. And so it's not necessarily about controlling the future. It's more about building trust in yourself too. So the more you rehearse who you're becoming, the less you need certainty about what's coming next. And so visualization and these tactics and really doing the post-game interview when it comes to a coaching call, whether it comes to a speaking event, whether it comes to a client in front of me, when it comes to closing a care plan or having a tough conversation with team, I'm always using this post-game interview strategy. And it's so interesting too, because it works every freaking time. Every time I do the visualization, the post-game interview, everything comes out the way that I imagined it, whether it was negative or positive too. And it's just amazing and insane what our brains can do. And also the ability and the skill set to actually control our brains. And that is really the foundation of success as well. I know we talk about this a lot inside of TWP2 and how really mindset is the core piece of success, or is also the core piece of failure too, or lessons learned rather. So all this to say, try this post-game interview strategy. Also, I hope to see you guys inside of San Diego because like I mentioned, TW events are truly unlike anything else that I've ever been a part of. And so if you are new to TWP, if you want to grab your friend and bring them, because we know that abundant friends love having abundant friends. So make sure you bring a friend with you. The community is unlike any other space that I've ever been into. So there are always going to be people that you can meet and collaborate with as well. But we are going to include more about San Diego in our show notes. And we hope to see you there, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. If you want to connect with other practitioners just like you, be sure to join our Facebook group at The Wealthy Practitioner and be sure to follow us on Instagram. See you next week.